In today's video, we're going to talk about DC Studios co-head James Gunn, who's been caught in another lie. Does this 10-year plan exist? I don't believe so, because he keeps contradicting himself, keeps getting caught in lies. Why is James Gunn more talked about than the future of the DC universe? How is one person bigger than everything? Because he's in control of everything? That's the problem here. And people come out and say, he's so transparent. He's so transparent that we've caught him in so many lies already. It's coming clear to me. There was no reason to recast Henry Cavill's Superman. It is all one big lie. And also, we're going to talk about the Blue Beetle post-credit scenes. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube boys? If you are new around, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the kaiju, Monsterverse, Marvel, DC, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. If you could, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. Is James Gunn the biggest problem at DC Studios? And should David Zaslav rehire new studios heads? Because it's becoming massively problematic. He actually hired someone to handle PR and press, and still James Gunn keeps coming out and saying stuff. It ain't looking pretty for the future of DC Studios, and we're currently in a writer's strike and an actor's strike. He's making the studio look ridiculous. Also, if you could, check us out on Instagram at WarStew to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also check us out on Twitter, now called x.com. WarStew. I do try and respond to as many people as I can in DMs on Twitter and on Instagram, but understandably I can't get through to everyone. But I do try and engage as much as I can. So, where do we start? So, Mr. Comics Explained, Robert Jefferson, posted something on Twitter, aka X, and I agree with it. He said, calling it now, the DCEU kind of reboot, but not really, is just going to frustrate the audience with continuity errors and things will end up worse. I don't know why they didn't just hard reboot. Yeah, that's all they had to do. Get rid of everyone. Don't employ this nepotism trait or characteristic where you keep all your friends, you keep your brother, you keep your wife, you keep everybody else that was part of the DCEU that you like, and you scrap everyone else, and then you kind of make up these half-truths that started with Ben Affleck. I believe Ben Affleck walked away. I don't actually believe that had anything to do with James Gunn. So, met with Ben yesterday precisely because he wants to direct, and we want him to direct. We just have to find the right project. Hold my beer. Ben Affleck responds, I would not direct something for the James Gunn DCU. Absolutely not. I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy, sure. He's going to do a great job. I just wouldn't want to go in and direct in that way. They're doing that. I'm not interested in that. Ben Affleck. How many lies is this lad getting caught in? How many lies? So, also in the news, recently it came out that Gal Gadot was going to still be Wonder Woman moving forward. She came out and said it. And then it comes out that apparently that conversation never happen. Right, so let's break it down, Stu style. So someone asked a question. This is going back way over 3 months ago. Looking forward to the new DC projects. But I'm disappointed you guys let Henry and Gal go, but would still have Ezra around. He's a knucklehead, whilst Henry and Gal have done it all right. Just makes no sense to me. He responds, I really think someone needs to actually be their publicity for James Gunn, so he can just concentrate on what, well, he can't write, can he? Because there's a writer's strike. He can develop stuff as a studio head, sure. We didn't let Gal go. Ezra Miller is already in a movie. Henry doesn't fit what I have for Superman. That last bit is complete nonsense. Pretty much, we know because James Gunn hasn't debunked any of the Superman Legacy leaks. We know they're somewhat half true. When you got Gray saying something and then the most trusted insider, RPK, comes out and says something similar, it's clear that James Gunn didn't want Henry Cavill to be a Superman, and he should have just manned up and said, yo, I just don't want Henry to be Superman. He's too old. Okay, I could get behind that. If you casted someone that was between 20 and 25, you casted someone that's early 30s, I get it. Henry Cavill's 40. But the dude still looks in his early 30s. Come at me down below, bros, because you can't tell me Henry does not look old Seriously. They look the same, except for obviously Cavill looks better. You hire a Superman in his early 30s. You should have went with someone like 20 to 25, a nobody in Hollywood. David Corsonet, very good actor, nothing against him. It's just the wordings that you're using, James. You keep getting caught in this fiddle. And that is why no one believes that you actually have a plan. We did not let Gal go. So recently Gal Gadot came out and basically said that she is back, although she didn't actually go anywhere. So a Variety article comes out. And bear in mind, James Gunn actually said Wonder Woman won't appear in the first 3 years for the DCU plan that does not exist. Okay, so we're going to read a tiny bit of this article. Together, sources with knowledge of the situation tell Variety that is not the case. They were chiming in from what Gal said about, they're developing Wonder Woman 3. Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at any time for any Wonder Woman project. In the new DC, there is no new DC universe, that's a lie. Other than their previous announcements, Paradise Lost, prequel series for Max. Gal first suggested that Wonder Woman 3 might not be fully dead in an interview with comic.com. I love portraying Wonder Woman. It's so close to dear to my heart. From what I've heard, James and Peter, we're going to develop it. So in terms of credibility and who's got more validity, I would believe Gal Gadot 100 out of 100 times over James Gunn, because James Gunn has been caught in so much controversy and so many lies. Either don't say anything or spit the truth. Because remember, if we go back to what was said earlier, nobody let Gal go, but apparently now she's been let go. The difference is now the Flash cameos come out and the Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods cameo has come out now. So realistically, what James should have done is recast everyone. Absolutely everyone. Yes, your brother. Yes, your wife. Recast absolutely freaking everyone, because now you're confusing the comic book fans on what the freaking hell is going on, and they're not supposed to be confused. So by the time we ever get to this Superman legacy, this glorified Black Adam 2, I don't think anyone's going to care, because I think James Gunn is single-handedly turning everyone away from actually wanting anything. James Gunn has lied several times, from the trailer views of the Suicide Squad to Ben Affleck wanting to do a movie for his DCU. We're reading a tweet here. I wouldn't be surprised if he lied to Gal Gadot too. Nothing changed at Warner Bros. They are still studio. I do agree with that. I don't think anything has actually changed at all. So I believe that Ben Affleck walked away because he wanted nothing to do with the DC universe and James Gunn plan. Henry Cavill did because literally they told him to announce he's back just before Black Adam, or just after Black Adam came out, sorry. And they were like, no, he's not actually back. And now it sounds somewhat similar that they're doing the same thing to Gal Gadot. Publicly said, nah, she wasn't booted. She comes out and says, yo, we're working on Wonder Woman 3. And then Gunn comes out via this article, kind of, and he backs it up and basically says, no, Gal is not back. The studio has no consistency and somewhat seems to have no integrity. So, Blue Beetle, it's not part of the new universe, although they're trying to make it look that way. Whereas if this movie does well, you may get a sequel, but then in the trailer you stick Ace Chemicals and a LexCorp logo in it to try and make it seem like it's to set this new universe up. But James Gunn lied again. He said the Flash resets everything. Realistically, it reset nothing. George Clooney is not the new Batman, although some people tried to make out he was, and James Gunn also said no. So James Gunn hasn't finessed any of these DC movies. It's got nothing to do with him, yet he made changes to the Flash, changes to Blue Beetle, changes to Aquaman 2 because Batfleck was supposed to be in it. And then we get to the post-credit scenes for Blue Beetle. Careful for spoilers, I don't want to ruin your life. I really hope this movie does well, but the way they're marketing it, it's very mixed signaling. I don't even know who the target audience is for this movie because it's dubbed based on the trailers like just another generic superhero movie. with a bunch of gags. So both the post-credit scenes go absolutely nowhere. The main mid-credit scene, Ted Core. Yeah, potentially they could use him in DCU. Maybe if we ever get to this DCEU. So wasted post-credit scene. The second post-credit scene is somewhat of a Latino gag, apparently, based on people I know who have already watched this movie. So in order for this movie to actually break even, it's gonna have to do close to $400 million, which based on projections for the opening weekend, it's got about as much chance as the Flash movie had to break even, which is literally 0 to nothing. So it's a case of who is lying and who isn't. Wonder Woman 3 is not in development. Now, James Gunn said that she's not part, Wonder Woman character is not part of the first DCU phase, if you like. I don't think we're ever going to get there. But there's a prequel show series. Paradise Lost is part of it. Gal had a meet, was told she's still on board. Information comes out which contradicts it. Who do we believe? I'm more inclined to believe Gal Gadot over James Gunn, because James Gunn is very inconsistent. He's the most transparent studio co-head ever. Yeah, he's so transparent that everything he says, we don't know whether to take it serious or not. All they had to do was completely reboot everything. Yeah, sure, that would have annoyed a lot of people, but you annoyed a lot of people anyway by having a Superman movie be the first movie in the DCU, but it's not. Creature Commandos is, that apparently, according to David Harper, is the funniest script ever. Just what the superhero niche needs, more corny-ass funny things. Guardians, they were good, sure, but they were not great. Great is like Oppenheimer level. Sorry, but not many superhero movies are on greatness level. I mean, sure, there's some, but none written by Gunn. Gunn is a co-head of a studio, yet he wants to direct the movie, wants to write the movie, wants to film the movie, wants to do the lighting, wants to do the... He wants to do absolutely everything. A co-head helps develop plots and helps the overall picture, helps to oversee everything. He's still acting like each movie in this imaginary pretend fairy tale DCU is all part of his story, which, yeah, sure, it could be, but does that mean he has to direct, write, do the lighting, cast everyone? No. He should really have a back seat. Realistically, apparently he was supposed to be dubbed to be taking over Kevin Feige, but it looks like he hasn't actually learned anything. You guys know me, I'm a DC fanboy at heart. But it's hard to get excited for something when they haven't really even told you what the hell it is, let alone when you combine the writer's strike, the actor's strike. Not much development process can go on in terms of actual writing. Sure, pre-productions and stuff could happen, but there's no point because you don't know when the writers and actors strike's gonna be over. So for DC, it's a really bad time. Obviously, they've got Blue Beetle coming up soon. I hope it does well, but based on what I've heard, I don't think it's going to do very well. Aquaman 2, from what I've heard, I think it's going to do worse than The Flash, personally. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at What's You To See, the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Then check us out on Twitter, aka X, and let us know. What do you think's going on with DC? I've got absolutely no idea what's going on at DC Studios. I don't even think David Zaslav does, to be honest. Seems like they're just throwing darts at a board and hoping something works or something happens. So like always, guys, I like to keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest DC superhero news. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later. Peace.